Sweldo in, bills out, grocery, bayad utang, pamasahe, next week, gi na namin, sa. If this is your life every month, we have to fix that today. Because living paycheck to paycheck, it's not normal. And being broke every month, it's not normal. Surviving every month, it's not normal. I get it. We've all been there before. You don't want to be there anymore, so let's do something about it. In less than 10 minutes, 3 steps to level up from paycheck to paycheck. Let's go. No one? What is the paycheck to paycheck trap? The paycheck to paycheck trap is when you rely entirely on your next sweldo to pay for everything from the past month, meaning bills, groceries, bayad utang, pamasahe, plus a little treat for yourself. All of these things need to be accounted for in your sweldo. No savings, no buffer, just survive. And if this is you, you're going to relate to number 2, which is why budgeting alone won't work. Budgeting helps, yes, but it's not a full solution because without system changes, you're just organizing poverty. To explain, imagine you have 2 bank accounts. One is your current account where you receive your salary, your paycheck, and you have another one that's your savings account. You diligently track your spending. You create a budget and you're like, okay, I'll allow myself to spend $10,000 per month on groceries, $3,000 on transportation. Everything else is accounted for until the end of the month when your paycheck comes in, and you transfer the amount you budgeted to your savings account so you can start fresh again the next month. See what's wrong with that? When you only save after you've spent everything you're supposed to, you're not really building wealth. You're just organizing poverty. And here's why. Paycheck to paycheck is a mentality. It's not a number. It's when you live like every single month is your last, that you're afraid to invest or save for the future because you think you might need it next month. So you just focus on surviving this month and hoping that next month will be better. But guess what? Next month will be exactly like this month unless you make a change. And this leads us to our Filipino mindset that needs to shift. You see, growing up, we hear a lot of beliefs that are keeping us poor, and because they're repeated so often, we start to believe them. And we hold on to them so tightly that we forget they're actually just beliefs. They're not facts. So here are some examples. Sweldo lang muna Ipon, na next month. Kalangan kayo, reward sarili kayo. Kahit sakto lang basta may. I'm sure you've said some version of these sentences to yourself before. Maybe you still do. Sweldo lang muna Ipon na next month. This means that every time you get paid, you have 0 pesos saved and 0 pesos to spare. Your salary covers your expenses. That's it. You just made it to the end of the month. Anything extra, meaning anything that's above your bare minimum expenses, should be considered extra. You shouldn't be spending what you don't have. So if you want that extra, if you want to reward yourself, then you have to earn it. You have to earn it by cutting back on your expenses and saving the difference. Sweldo, lang muna Ipon na next month. It's the belief that you can't afford to save until payday, but you can't afford to save because you haven't made a decision to save. You have to make a conscious effort to set aside even 100 pesos, even 500 pesos. Don't say, oh, I'll save when I get a bigger salary, because next month, when your salary comes in, you'll be thinking, oh, I'll save when I get my tax return, and the cycle will continue. It starts with a decision. Once you've decided to save, it becomes a habit, and then you can reward yourself guilt-free, because you know that you actually deserve it. Kailangan kong reward sarili ko. Rewarding yourself is good, yes, but it shouldn't come at the expense of your financial health. You can reward yourself after you've achieved something, but you don't need to reward yourself. You don't need to buy yourself flowers every time you get a sale, every time you finish a task, every time you get a promotion. Sometimes rewarding yourself feels good, but it doesn't really help you grow. So ask yourself, does rewarding yourself actually make you feel better, or do you just feel guilty for spending money that you haven't earned yet? Remember, self-reward is a choice, not an obligation. And lastly, kahit sakto lang. As long as it's enough, as long as I have a job, I'm good. This is also a matter of perspective. Of course, it's good to have a job. Of course, it's good to have money coming in. But having a job and having money coming in should not be enough reasons to settle for kahit sakto lang. You deserve more than kahit sakto lang. You deserve to aim higher, whether it's in your career, your relationship, your personal growth. Kahit sakto lang is just an excuse to settle for less. It's an excuse to stay in a job that you hate, in a career that you don't like, in a relationship that makes you unhappy. Yes, it's safe to settle for kahit sakto lang. It's safe to stay in a job that you kind of like. It's safe to stay in a relationship that you kind of like. But if you want to be happy, if you want to live the best life possible, you have to take risks. You have to take the chance to explore, to try new things, to step out of your comfort zone and go for what you really want. So how do you shift your mindset from paycheck to financial freedom? In 3 steps. Step 1 is to create a basic emergency fund. It could be as low as 1,000 pesos. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it needs to be enough to cover 1 month's worth of your bare minimum expenses. Once you have that, step 2 is to track every peso for 30 days. Where did it go? How much did you spend on food, on transportation, on clothing? Knowing where your money goes is the first step to controlling it. And finally, step 3, start a second income, a digital sideline, a small business. Anything to add to your monthly income? Why? Because the more streams of income you have, the more financial freedom you have. You don't have to rely on a single source of income. You don't have to rely on your boss. You don't have to rely on anyone but yourself. And I know it sounds scary, but it's not impossible. Anyone can do it. Anyone can build multiple streams of income. So if you're ready to take charge of your financial story, to write a new chapter that says, I am in control, then I challenge you to take these steps. It's not about earning millions. It's about taking control of your money story. 10 years from now, you will not remember this month. But if you choose to act now, if you choose to change your mindset, to change your story, 10 years from now, you'll be glad you did. To help you get started, I've created a free 3-step reset plan. It's available on my Gumroad page. You can download it by clicking the link in the description box below. It contains worksheets, trackers, and a guide to help you through the entire process. And lastly, follow MoneyBuilt PH on social media because you deserve more than Sakto Lang. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.